On the Hannah City Trail Agreement, could get a motion, place this on the floor. Thank you, Ms. Williams, and thank you, Mr. Rosenbaum. This is all good news here, I feel. Mr. Sorrell?
Sure. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is just a revision to the previous intergovernmental agreement that you had adopted and authorized us to enter into. That original agreement included Fulton County. At their last county board meeting, they chose, for financial reasons mostly caused by COVID-19, that they would not be able to participate. So this is a new and improved intergovernmental agreement that excludes them but has the three remaining partners, that being ourselves, Village of Hannah City, and the City of Farmington. What does that do financially? That increases our maximum potential contribution by roughly $20,000. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Is that a no? Their inquisitive eyes.
I know how much work has gone into this, and thank you to Sharon for everything you've done. I would be in support of that.
Great.
Mr.
Mr. Rosenbaum, your eyes were so inquisitive behind the mask, I had to ask you. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be supporting this also. I've got a lot of constituents that have called and supporting it. Of course, most of this is going through most of my district, and I think this would be a great addition to southern Peoria County here, where people can utilize it. So I'm just glad that we're going forward with it.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenbaum. Others? So let me go to Sharon then. Ms. Williams.
Well, we had a discussion. Scott was on the call with everyone regarding this when Fulton County decided that they would not participate. So what the three entities decided at that point was that we would divide that evenly instead of doing the percentage. So we just divided their portion into three equal parts. So that's the just over $20,000.
Thank you. And just for clarification, that's providing us the funds to purchase that piece of the spur that goes into Fulton County, right?
Yeah, and that's our maximum out of pocket. It could be less. They're looking at a 10% bike trail grant
Sure.
that would obviously bring our number down 50%. So
just to remind everyone, these funds are not coming out of the general fund. They're not coming out of annual cash streams. We may take CDBG dollars to do this or Keystone dollars to do this. It's a commitment today to a future expense, and this is the maximum exposure. As I have talked to Sharon, whether we're granting it or loaning it to Tri-County for them to figure out how to pay it back, any of those structures could be contemplated at the time we move to close it, right? We could grant it or we could loan it. It's a question I think that could be settled easily in the future. Did that muddy the water? Or that explain it's not coming out of general fund? We're not laying off anybody because of this. Yes, Mr. Renaud.
I would just like to say, as a native Fulton Countyan, that I proudly support this.
I know you're board chairman today over there, so I'll be sure to say thank you for his participation. All right, all those in favor, then if there's no other comments, all those in favor of the resolution as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That would be a same sign. Any opposed? That would be unanimous, Jan. Thank you very much. If any of the committee chairs or vice chairs covering committee reports today need to leave early, raise your hand. And I'll call on you first. Wow, perfect gentlemen and gentlewomen. Nobody making up a story to get out the door. So I'll just take them in the order they're in the book. Ouch. Mr. Renaud.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In county operations, we had no resolutions, and we met in executive session to discuss labor relations.
Thank you. Are labor relations okay?
They will be.
Thank you. Any questions for the chairperson of operations? Thank you. Mr. Rosenbaum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had 4 resolutions. The first one was appropriation of donation and grant funds for the PCAPs. They, 2 different, or I know one person willed them quite a bit. I think it was 2 different ones, but it's $16,000 they're getting, and they're going to redo their, for the cats. They're
Cattery.
Pardon?
Cattery.
The cattery, okay, so that's what they call it. I was going to say the feline part of it, but whatever. They're going to remodel it and make it more humane, more advantageous for the cats to settle down and be better. And they think that'll help be able to adopt more cats. So that was a great thing. No funds coming out of any of our pockets. Somebody donated it. Number 2 was the SFY 21 Adult Redeploy Grant. That's with the courts. That's a $252,248 grant, and that's for certain ones that have gotten into trouble. They can try to help them go through. The money's spent for hiring people to help them get back on track, and they're having at least 75% or higher success rate. They've been doing that. The third one was the FFY 21 IDOT DUI court grant for $307,724.43. They've been doing that one for quite a while. They got that grant again, and that's to for the DUI courts for monitors, everything to help people get through the system and hopefully not do it again. Both of those 2 grants, there's nothing that's supposed to be paid out by the county, so it's supposed to take care of all for any of the people that we hire. It's supposed to take care of all their benefits and everything, so hopefully that'll keep going. And the last one was appropriation of the 2019 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Program, and we go in with the city on that, and our share is $26,726, and that's with the Sheriff's Department.
Thank you. There were good resolutions too. Any questions? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rosenbaum. We did have a cancellation, so let me see here. Mr. Salzer.
Mr. Chairman, we had one resolution. This resolution has to do with the replacement of a bridge out on the Jubilee Brimfield area, and we approved a resolution that had to do with the agreement that the state of Illinois and the federal government will supply us with 80% of the funds on this. We will provide the other 20%, but the contract, of course, will be released by the state, and we think it probably will be done this fall, or I should say not fall, early winter, and that the work will be started as soon as they get good weather in 2021, and so this will be a good project for that area. It's going to cost us around $400,000.
Thank you, Phil. And this is a scheduled project in our plan, right, Scott? Yes, sir. Thank you. Ms. Williams.
Which is formalizing how we are going to collect on our past due aged receivables, and that passed unanimously.
Thank you. Ms. Williams, there were some claims that were determined to be third-party liable somewhere in the early part of the spring, that we had notified the state's attorney's office for potential processes against third parties. Would you tickle them to see if they're able to put that in a L court?
Yeah, Member Daly has brought that up on numerous occasions, so she brought that up today. And
She
Paul
did?
is going to be working on that.
You see who else has been hearing about it too. She's got a calendar in there. Thank you. Any questions for the chairperson? Seeing none, then Ways and Means had a late cancellation without cause. I mean, with cause, with good cause. Mr. Fennell?
We didn't have any resolutions, but we had a discussion on the refinancing of bonds for the Wilhelm Road Bridge and also the Riverfront Museum. And there was a savings of about $3,100,000 or $3,200,000 over the life of the loans.
Thank you. That's a good thing for us, if that's new news to you. If I could ask Mr. Ricker to provide some comment. Steve and Rachel have been participating in the budget shtick with Jim and I. We have to make sure we don't all show up on the same day, so I'm in some, but not in others. In terms of getting a better understanding about how the process works, Mr. Ricker has been an ardent, at times occasionally strident, reminder to me about wanting to see the process, and now that he's gotten involved in it and as deeply as he has, and Rachel as well, I was just wondering if you'd like to add any comments about your experience. We get criticized a lot about the budget, and some of it I'm sure is fair and some of it is completely unfair. The fact that we had to make some changes late last year, we've been blamed a million times for, and I'm always the first one to say, blame it on me then, because I'm not going to let something go through without screaming about it, that I think is worth discussing anyway. So the up front and up close to the windshield, it's not for everyone, and certainly all of us can't go do it, but it's an experience, and I thought maybe either or both of you might comment on the experience thus far. Jim, of course, and I love doing it, and it's not for everyone, but comments if.
I'll take this down as well, just so it's a little bit easier to talk. I think that it's been particularly helpful to understand, I think, things from a historical context as well, because when you're coming in, I know I've been on the board for 2 years, but you're able to hear a lot of the history behind some of the decisions that have been made, or the context around the decision that's before us today. And so I think that that's been a really helpful part of the process for me, even be able to learn, what budget items fall in which accounts, or what parts of the budget are put into, whether it comes out of, we can move it from this fund to this fund, or I was thinking about the health department, what grant can be used for what purpose. And so I think that even getting into that level of detail, we talk about it a little bit, obviously in our committee meetings, we talk about it, when we are reviewing it, but to get into that level of detail and actually able to talk to those department heads and hear from them about their specific challenges, but also look at, okay, how can we work to accomplish the same goals, and what are their plans, and how that works, not only from providing them direction, but then how they then turn to, plan to implement it, I think has been really helpful for me in understanding that. And I've actually, looking at, I haven't attended obviously all of them, but just the ones that I have, I think it's given me a greater understanding and appreciation for when we do provide direction and, we give that, to whether it be Scott or, our department leaders, how that then is interpreted in the decisions that they've made, and given me kind of a different impact and a view on that. So I've really appreciated being part of it, and I felt like I've learned quite a bit through the process, taken a lot of notes, and still feel like there's, I feel it really gives you a good sense of some of the more in-depth detail when we make a decision, how it then impacts and the downstream effects of that to the department. So I've really enjoyed, I like numbers, so I've enjoyed actually learning more about it. So I'm excited, enjoyed being a part of the process so far.
Mr. Ricker.
I'd just say ditto to all of that. Well said.
Fair enough. We'd be at miscellaneous then? Sold. All right, we'd be adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Tough meeting, I know. Tough meeting.